I'm Melinda Van Fleet, and welcome to the Good Karma Success Coach podcast. I'm a success coach, speaker, and business consultant, and my husband Ryan and I were laid off at the same time 10 years ago. We moved to the Florida Keys without jobs, not knowing anyone, hardly any money, and we never even been here. But we made it, and now we're living our best lives. And all along on our journey, I've said that someday when we get our quote-unquote shit together, we will help others. And since then, we've both done a lot of self-work and built successful businesses. So that day is here, and one of my ways of paying it forward is through this podcast. Each week, my intent is to be relatable and bring you tactical tips, tools, share my learnings and stories that can help inspire or transform you wherever you are in your career or general life and make an impact. I strongly believe that if I can do it, you can do it too. So what's stopping you? Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Good Karma Success Coach podcast. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I am super excited. I have an amazing special guest this week. Her name is Deb Frueh. And if you follow me on Facebook, I posted about my tarot card reading with Deb on December 10th. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'd love to have her on the podcast because I haven't had a tarot card reader in a really long time. And I just thought she was amazing. So I'm super excited. Deb began reading tarot professionally in 1986, and she has traveled the world helping others on their quests of using guidance of the cards. She has a special way, her passion is blending psychic techniques with 21st century brain science to create a form of advanced intuition. And that is what was so special about working with her, was I felt like it was next level tarot card reading versus what I've had in the past. And another thing we're going to dive into is her Worldwide Metaphysical Tribe Event that she has been hosting since 2014. Unfortunately, she didn't have it this year, but I want her to talk about that as well. So welcome, Deb.
Hi, Melinda. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Please share with the audience your background, how you got started into reading cards, and give us some scoop.
Well, it was kind of strange, and this is pretty typical for people who do, psychic things. They have a strange introduction to it. And I was on the verge of divorce after 12 years of marriage. And I kept getting this tap on the shoulder. Go get a deck of tarot cards. Go get a deck. And I had never seen a tarot card. This was 1986. There was no Borders. There was no Amazon. There was no nothing. Where do you find a tarot deck? And so I just kept it in the back of my mind. And I was in a funky little part of Chicago, and I found a funky little bookstore called Platypus Bookstore. And I walked in and I said, "Do you have tarot decks?" And they said, "We have two." And I looked at them and I said, "Which one should I buy?" And she gave me one. And I went home, and for 2 years I banged my head against the wall. I could not figure it out. I was ready to quit, but I knew I was supposed to stick with it. And I said, well, just show me the way. So I wound up at a party, and there was a woman there reading cards, and she was out in the room with everyone. So I was allowed to stand behind her. And I stood behind her, and as she's turning over cards and people are asking questions, I knew what the cards were going to say before she said anything. In fact, it was like watching television. It was so clear. And so when she was finished, I said to her, "Hey, what deck do you use?" Because it wasn't the deck that I bought. And she told me the deck, and I've never used another deck since then. I have different decks, but my go-to deck is the Mythic Tarot. And ever since then, it's just flowed.
Wow. So did you have readings before?
I had never seen a tarot card.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Wow. That's really, really amazing. So then did she teach you? Because now, I mean, you can take courses, you can learn, through YouTube,
Right.
you know.
Back then, you had mentors.
Okay.
And so, because I mean, there were not even computers, there were no home computers. Okay. So I would drive to her house in the next town, and we had another girl that would join us. And we had what we called the sister circle. And we would read each other's cards over and over and over again. Now, she was really good. She still is extremely good. And we try to get her to my event every year because I just want everybody to know her. Um, but we would just read each other's cards and practice and critique and practice and practice and practice. And that's how I really got my chops. And finally, one day, her name is Mary. And one day, Mary said to me, "We're going to have a tarot party over here at my house. You're going to be the reader." And back then, we charged $15 an hour. And so we only did 1 hour readings. And I read all day long. People just kept coming and coming and coming. And I was shocked at how well the readings were going. And and so that was my baptism. I mean, I just got thrown in feet first,
Wow.
and yeah, so since then, many adventures.
So in the beginning, what were you nervous? Like, did you ever say anything that wasn't true or correct?
Oh, this is a process. Okay. I was terrified that first time. And for a long time, I was terrified. It was like standing at the edge of the high dive every time you read for somebody.
Yeah.
And it was because of a couple of things. Number one, you're always comparing yourself. Well, there's better readers than me. Why are they here giving me money? And then there's the I don't really know if what if I say this and they just look at me like I've got two heads? What do I do? I don't even know how to deal with that. And it took a lot of years for me to actually step back and look at what my readings look like
Mhm.
and say, you know what, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
And once I gave myself permission, then everything just went crazy.
Wow. Wow. And when you traveled the world, was it with conferences, or like how does that work as a tarot card reader? I'm curious.
Well, actually, for me, I was basically uh, just checking out Europe with my husband, but I also had my cards. And so I would just read for people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just random readings if they spoke English. I mean, I don't have enough command of any language to read cards in any other language but English. I mean, I can get you around France and Spain, but I can't really read your cards.
Yeah, you might do a lot of hand motions or something.
Right, and it's not helpful.
Right. A little different. Oh my gosh, that's really cool. So basically you have like business on the go, where as long as you
Right,
speak English, you got your deck of cards.
right.
Wow. And I have never heard of the Mythic Tarot. Is there anything about it, or just that you were so drawn to it from the beginning that you stuck with that
I
deck?
was totally drawn to it. It's a very simple deck. It's based on Greek mythology, which I love.
Uh-huh.
If you're trying to read tarot and you are not getting anywhere, I would suggest looking at tarot decks. You can go into, um, for instance, Barnes and Noble, I think, is still standing, and they have 3-ring binders with cards in them, so you can look at what the style is. There's a deck for every pleasure. Are you into vampires? Are you into old cars? Are you into alcohol? It doesn't matter. There's a tarot deck for you. Are
Yeah.
you into fairies? It doesn't matter. So I'm into Greek mythology. This is the art is very simple, so it doesn't uh, confuse me or take me in too many directions. And there's an entire school dedicated to learning this deck in England where it was originally um, developed.
Wow.
Yeah,
You ever thought about going to that school? I mean, you don't need to
I would
now,
love
but
to.
for curiosity.
Yeah, it's closed.
Oh,
Yeah, I wish I could. I would love to meet the creators. They're pretty amazing people.
Yeah. I have 8 decks now. Some are Oracle and some are Tarot, but to your point about the different themes out there. Yeah, I have a dragon, I have fairy, I have
Hmm.
tattoo. So yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's amazing. And they're all beautiful. So, and it's fun because, you know, some have just a different feel and they shuffle differently.
Yep.
So I've just been practicing as like a little hobby, nothing, you know, like you, but just been like, I play around
It was
practice.
just a little hobby for me. I was a single mom with 4 kids. I had a million things to do, but I had this hobby and it was, reading tarot. And my name was getting around town. I lived in a college town. The college had myself and my mentor come in and read for freshman orientation night. We read for 8 straight hours. We both lost our voices.
Wow.
Um, at the end, we couldn't read anymore. We just passed out our cards. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah, freshman orient. That's amazing to have that on college campus.
I know.
That's really cool. I mean, because I just so highly recommend this, you know, tool, this gift to people because there is so much clarity that comes from it. Like, imagine as a freshman getting guidance. Yeah, you're in the wrong
Yeah,
major. You know?
yeah, exactly.
Save you some
Exactly.
money and some time. You're in the wrong major. Like, that would be so great.
We both had a line that went through the room, out the door, down the hall, down a flight of stairs, and outside.
Wow.
That's how popular it was.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, that's really cool. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Well, my reading, you hit the nail on the head right away because
Great.
we started you even said, because I re-listened to it yesterday, you said you wanted to get a beat on me, which was like really, really accurate. And yeah, it's we talked about you know, I'm telling people my voice is getting stronger, I'm more focused. And it was really amazing. I'm looking at the notes, just trying to pull out what people would probably understand. One of the questions I had asked you was about, like what's going on now. And we talked about, facing what I love and focusing,
Hmm.
which was, just really compelling, especially since some things that, happened to me earlier this fall happened for me. Actually, there were things I knew was coming. It wasn't a big surprise, but it just cleared up my time and my energy to focus on writing and coaching and speaking, which is what I love. So I thought that was perfect. And you don't know me from Adam. So
Or Eve.
or Eve. Yes, exactly. And then as I posted about in the Facebook post, I was brave because some people I think are probably a little nervous to ask about their spouse because
Sure.
or partner because you could have said and then I always have Ryan listen to things, so that wouldn't have gone over so well. so
Gosh, no.
so you talked about that nothing can knock us over and we lock arms
Yes.
and get through things, and that he's my true love. And then the other thing that we talked about was it's really and it's a message for everyone. That's why I want to be brave and share it, is being yourself. And that I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and that's what you said. I wrote it down. And it's true. So I think as you get older and you move through the space and you um really figure out who you are in this world and what you're trying to accomplish, really just being yourself and not looking at someone else and being like, oh, should I be more like her or him,
Exactly.
and do that, it's just really important. And it's tough. I'll be honest. It's tough out there, especially with people that are ahead of you, and you're like, oh, oh, they did this, should I be doing that too? Is that like an opportunity or is that not? And really just using your internal guidance and intuition to lead you down the path of what you're meant to do, and
Right.
what works for you. So,
Focus on your own work.
mhm.
Don't focus on other people's. It's too distracting.
Yeah, it is. It can be. And I think,
Yeah.
I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but would you say that a lot of people probably have that as something that comes up?
Well, I think that it's a normal stage of life,
Hmm.
but it doesn't seem to come up a whole lot in my readings. No.
What
I
comes up
think,
most, would you say, with people?
oh gosh. Um, Gosh, that's a tough question. Usually, people are coming to me with really thorny problems, like intricate family dramas or intricate work dramas. And, it's the my job is to, see what that drama is about, who's causing what, and then, lift my client out of it so they can look at it from 40,000 feet and get a better picture.
Hmm. Wow. So lots of family. That's interesting. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I could see that and understand that. I've moved through my thought processes in situations, but yeah, if I didn't, that for sure would be something. What do you do if you have to kind of tell someone something they don't like to hear? Like, how does that work?
Well, okay, so this happens a lot. And when I teach tarot and when I teach readers, I tell them, I said, you have to be very careful about the words that come out of your mouth because there's people in the world who think that you have special magic juju, and you don't. You are simply have a talent for understanding the symbols and making that connection with another person's subconscious. So if you see that somebody is going to have, is really making bad decisions or having a hard time, or something really great is hanging around or really not great is hanging around the corner, it's your job to bring out your biggest suitcase full of empathy and really bring it with empathy, because and choose your words carefully, because in the end, I always tell my students, in the end, you don't want to drop people off in a dark alley. You want to show them the path back home. You
Mm,
want to show them how they know they're going to be on that path, how they know that they're making progress, what tools can they use. These are the kinds of things that we can find out in a reading. And yeah, people, people do set themselves up for terrible cleansing moments, to put it kindly. And you just have to face facts sometimes, but you don't have to be brutal about it. You can be loving and caring and realize that we're all in this together.
mhm. Yeah, no, and that makes sense. I think that um the delivery, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah,
Hmm.
delivery can make all the difference.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you're right. And then,
absolutely.
what I get from readings is, clarity, confidence, and hope. So yeah, if you're helping someone through a challenging situation and you give them some tools and ideas, um, and even maybe some understanding of the why behind,
Hmm.
then that helps them too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Does anyone read your cards? Like, how does it work for you?
Very seldom. Um, after you've done this for a while, you see how it all works. And so you're only kidding yourself if you're not paying attention and utilizing what you know.
Mhm.
Once in a great, great while, I'll get a reading. Um, but I know better. I mean, here's the thing. I, I I tell people, if you packed your lunch and went to work and you were about to punch your time card and you found out there was a pink slip there and the business is closing and you have no place to turn, that's not the right day to call for a reading,
Mm,
because the dust has to settle. And once the dust settles, and it might take a day or 2 days or a week, it depends on you, really. How long do you want to bathe in the drama?
mhm.
But when the dust settles, then I can see again. I can see through the cosmic dust that's been kicked up. So, it's really about I don't put myself in positions that I know are, going to blow back on me. And when a surprise happens, you just have to stand back and go, you know what? This is okay. What's to learn here? So I don't really, there's not a whole lot readers can tell me anymore.
Yeah, because you understand it from
Sure.
a soul level and subconscious probably. So
Well, and also, you when you watch people make the same mistake over and over again, and I'm not talking about one person, but you read for, 100 people and 25 of them are cheating on their spouse, you know what's going to happen if you try it at home, you know?
do you like, does that, okay, that's like really out there. So if you're reading for someone, like, does it ever pop up where you're like, oh, you're cheating? Like, does that pop up?
Oh, heck yes.
Oh my God. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh because the other people are probably like, it's really not that funny. But when you don't.
No, secrets, you have to be ready for your secrets to be revealed. That's why I really like private readings. I don't like readings in public because, I don't even like couples in readings. They have to convince me to read for the two of them together because secrets come out. I read once for this guy who I was a known skeptic. He was just thought I was just so full of it. And he said, "Come on, read my cards." And I was like, you probably and then he calls his wife over. "Hey, she's going to read my cards. Let's sit here." And I said, I'm doing this under protest, but you're never going to leave me alone until I do it. So I laid out the cards and I said, "Were you just in court for DUI and lost?" And his face turned white. His wife didn't know about it.
Oh no. Oh,
So,
you asked me, buddy.
so he never asked me again, which is good.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know if he kept it a secret from her. All I see is that he was in court for a DUI and he lost.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Yeah, no, I guess you do. You have to be very prepared for whatever, yeah, secret.
so much so.
Wow, that's amazing. And then I've thought about this before, so I'm going to ask you this. Do you ever end a reading with someone, like their hours up or how much time, you do half-hour readings, that's what you did with me. And then like the next day something comes to you about that person. Do you ever have like an afterthought?
On rare occasions. And if I do, I email them.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But it doesn't happen very often
Mm-hmm.
because I'm constantly on the go with readings. I mean, I'm reading all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of things don't stick.
Yeah. And how do you teach someone in class? Like tell me about your coaching, your tarot coaching.
Well, actually, I teach you in a 1-day workshop.
Oh.
It's really fast. I'm kind of this person who feels like if I spend money on a class, I want to walk out with a skill.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to spend 6 weeks doing it. I don't want to spend 8 weeks doing it. I want a skill when I walk out the door. So I've condensed it to the point where it's sort of like if someone teaches you how to bake bread or brew beer. Okay, you know how to do it. You get it. You practiced it. You did it for me. You were great at it. And now there's a whole lifetime of tarot things you can immerse yourself in.
Mm-hmm.
Find what you like and go in that direction.
Hmm. Gotcha. No, that's cool. That's cool. So let's talk about the Worldwide Metaphysical Tribe and your event. Like, what's it like? What are your thoughts? I know we're a little soon because you don't have the venue yet, so I totally get that. But share a little bit with the audience because there might be some people out there that are interested. I know I definitely am interested. So.
Well, we started in 2014. I live in a log cabin on a lake in the woods about 2 hours west of Chicago. So nobody comes to see me. If I want to see all my psychic friends, and I have lots of them, I drive to them and we get together. So I thought one time, you know what? I'm going to invite everybody out. We'll go out to dinner to this local restaurant, and then we'll come to my house and we'll have a bonfire. Everybody can bring dessert. We'll do readings for each other. We'll just hang out. It'll be fun. We did all that. The Perseid meteor shower was shooting overhead. Something magical was in the air, and people who drove 100 miles one way to come to this bonfire stayed till 11:30 at night, didn't want to leave, and kept saying to me, "You're going to do this next year, right?"
Oh, wow.
So the next year I did it again. And I thought, this is really strange. This is like happening and I'm not even having to work at it. It's just like my joy.
Mm-hmm.
And the third year I said, you know what, this is a real thing. I'm gonna make it a networking event because everybody was networking anyway. Because every year I doubled the number of people that were coming.
Wow.
So I had a storyteller, I had a fire dancer, and oh my gosh, it was so much fun. The following year, we moved to a luxury B&B, and the year after that was the year Deborah came, our mutual friend Deborah.
Uh-huh.
And then I had a lineup of speakers, I had an expo going, it was just really, really an amazingly fun time.
Wow.
And now every year it just sort of like doubles in size.
Uh-huh.
And so this year we're doing 2 days. We used to always only do one day, but we'll be doing Friday, August 13th and Saturday, August 14th. And what it is the 13th will be pretty much dedicated to metaphysical professionals. I have a business coach who's my headline speaker that day. I have people who practice different modalities that aren't terribly mainstream or else they're superstars at what they do. And so they will take the stage and help people understand, how they do their thing. I have coaching pods. I have something called the pitch table, which means that if someone owns a venue where you might teach or you might do readings or something like that, uh, the owners of the venues or the center or the crystal shop or whatever it is will sit at the table and you can pitch your class to them.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it's totally fun. And then Saturday's the big day. We have our big headliner. I'm flying him in from Canada. He is Grant Cameron. He is on the cutting edge of conscious thought. And he is not afraid to immerse himself. So many times researchers, they're like, no, I have to stay, I have, I have to stay outside of this. I have to be the observer, but not Grant. Grant will go in with both feet and say, I got to see what this is like close up.
Oh,
And
cool.
he has so many high strangeness stories to tell, pictures to go with it. It's just, he's really like at the top of his game right now. So he will be our nighttime speaker, our headline speaker, but our daytime big speaker is actually going to be two people um, who have come to talk about CE5. Now, you've heard of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That's the movie where, people make contact. That's the third kind of CE3. But CE5 is you make contact with somebody out there in space and they acknowledge you. These people are super good at it. They're at the top of their game. They're at the top of that whole field.
Wow.
And they're going to show us some footage that they've taken out in the desert and Joshua Tree and different places around the world that they go. And then we're going to skywatch at night.
Oh my gosh. And
Yeah.
you can see that it's a meteor shower, right? Did I get that?
It's not meteors that they're going to be shooting. They have special lasers, not the kind that will get you arrested.
Okay.
They have special lasers where they signal craft, and the craft signal back.
Oh my gosh. You're kidding.
Yes. No,
Wow.
I'm not. No, I am not kidding. So after everything's over, then we're going to go outside and we're going to do the sky watching. We're not going to do the actual CE5 protocol, which it involves a lot of meditation and stuff. People are not going to be in that headspace, but they can do sky watching, and they will bring their lasers, and they are going to do a presentation, so you can ask them all about it. And yeah, it's going to be amazing.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I also, yeah, I have a walk-in soul who is going to be presenting. You know, I read about walk-in souls 40 years ago, and I just didn't know what to think about them. Are you familiar with that term?
No, I'm actually writing this down. I've never heard this before. What is it?
Okay, so what happens is you're a soul and you come into Earth in a body and you get all your work done and you're like, wow, this is a perfectly good body. And there's there's a soul out there who just has a few things left to do, and they really don't want to go through babyhood and teenagerhood and young. They just don't want to do that. They just want to cut to the chase. So what happens is the original person usually falls really sick, close to death.
Uh-huh.
And at that moment, the switch occurs, and the original inhabiting soul leaves, and the new soul that just has a few things to get done in this life comes in and and they seem to heal very quickly, and then they get to the business of their work that they came to do. Now, when I read, there's a book Ruth Montgomery wrote 40 years ago that I read it and I thought, you know, this sounds really weird. I just don't know what to think about it. And then I met Linda Wilkes, and I was floored by her testimonial. I went to a talk that she gave, and she is the real deal. When she regained her health, she didn't recognize some of her family members. She went strictly by energy. Oh, your energy? No, I don't want to deal with you. Don't come back. This is while she's in the hospital. And she's now working with, what is it? Amnesty International. And, you know, she has this whole different life. She's a different person according to her children.
Wow. So
Yeah.
did she kind of figure out what happened, what happened? Like, because it's not like
Someone
you're a walking
suggests,
soul, so how do you
yeah.
get that?
Someone suggested to her that she might be a walk-in soul, and she started looking into it.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I believe it. I've met people that have had experiences with, they've known somebody whose soul has swapped, basically. That
Mm-hmm.
might kind of be close or similar. So I have heard that before. I just haven't heard the term walk-in soul. And yeah, I believe it. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
so she'll be there presenting and
Oh,
probably doing readings. So
wow. Wow.
yeah, she's a great, great woman.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, you know so many fun people too.
Yes, I do. It makes sense to have an event where everybody else can meet them, right?
Yes, yes. That's what I love is like everyone sharing their gifts. And, I've just been so appreciative of this space over the course of my lifetime, not even just doing this podcast. I mean, it goes way back. So, yeah, I just, it's fun and enlightening and helpful in your life and your journey. And that's what I really hope people understand is,
Right.
this isn't just like watching a TV, like this is stuff that can like help you make decisions, help you get out of your head and be less stressed or less overwhelmed or, so many things, help you say goodbye to, relationships that aren't serving you. So you meet better people or things that help you move forward. So yeah, it's a whole world that I feel, yeah, when you're in this space, sometimes you think that everyone's aware, but really the world isn't aware. So it's bringing more awareness to.
Well, that's changing soon. I mean,
Yeah.
Monday is
Oh
the
yeah.
real dawning of the age of Aquarius. And, I mean, that energy has been coming in really strongly for a long time, but now it's the actual
Mhm.
event is Monday.
Yeah.
And we're changing, and our society is going to change. The people that we are, it's just going to change.
Yeah. Are you doing anything that evening? Like, do you light a candle or go
You
outside? Is
know, it's going to be cloudy here.
there?
So I'm thinking about checking with my friends and seeing if they're doing anything online that I can just, mark the day with.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I made that decision this morning when I saw that it was going to be cloudy that night. I was just like, oh, crud. I want to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. But maybe you can still go outside and feel the energy and I don't know, meditate
Sure.
or something. So that's really cool. Yeah, I need to plan something too and make my husband go outside with me. So I make him tag along and he's been, a good sport all these years. So I give him a lot
Mine
of,
too.
yeah, right. You give him some props. You're like, hey, thanks for being, along with me on this beautiful ride of
Yes.
enlightenment and, just really positive things that can happen. So that is super cool. I know I normally close with an affirmation, but I'm going to toss it to you because you're going to step it up a notch and share things in a different way, which I love your ideas. So go for it.
Well, this is something these are two things that I find myself saying to people a lot in readings. The first one is, if you want things to change, you have to push a little energy around. Now, what does that mean? People look at me cross-eyed like I can't understand what you just said. And let's say you're trying to get a new job and you've had your interview and you're not hearing and it's past the deadline that they said they'd call you and you don't know what to do. Well, the worst thing you can do is hassle the boss or the person, that interviewed you or the company. That's the worst thing you can do. The best thing you can do is push different energy around. So do something else. Clean out your closets. Go and help out at the homeless shelter. Get your nails done. I don't care, but do something, so that you are moving energy and not just sitting there waiting for something to happen. I always also say, if you want the winning lottery ticket, you have to go out and buy it. You have to be engaged. No one's going to come to your door and say, "Oh, and by the way, I have this lottery ticket. I think it's a winner and I'm giving it to you." That'll never happen. So, if you want it, you have to go out and push a little energy around. And the other thing that I find myself saying a lot is, if you can breathe, there's a solution. And it's simple as that. You giving up is not an option because you still have breath in you. And as long as you still have breath, you're still creative enough to find the way out.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you feel you feel in your mind that you're locked in a box, it's nailed shut, there is something. And if you can breathe, you can find it. You have to believe in yourself to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I find when people live their lives in such a way that they corner themselves basically and don't know how to get out, then this is, that's the opening line. Then we look at the cards and we see what's the best direction to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's amazing. And it's so true. Some people think that, this is going to, break them or there isn't a way out, but
Right?
there's always a positive way out. And just remember the things that you've accomplished in the past and
Right.
use that as some fuel. So both of these are beautiful. Thank you so much. And especially to the energy one, because I do feel, even myself, I've been a pusher my whole life. So
Mm-hmm.
I call myself a pusher and an overthinker. And there are things that I have had to work so hard on. Like people don't, realize that, that's part of working on yourself is
Right.
realizing, stop pushing, you told me that I need to take a break and take a spa day.
That's right. Spa day.
And that goes right into this bucket, my friend. So yeah. So I did. I was like, your advice was perfect on Thursday because then my friend was coming on Friday. So I was like, oh, yay, this timing is great to not be, pushing and, take a few days off to just hang out with my friend. And
Absolutely.
a lot of us are guilty of pushing. And why hasn't this happened yet? Why hasn't he called me back yet? Why haven't I gotten
Exactly.
Yep. So
Go get your nails done. Get a massage. Take
Yep.
care of you.
Yeah. So when I need this reminder, I'm going to be listening to this podcast because it's lifelong work. It's a lifelong journey.
That's right.
So I'm getting better, but yeah, totally. So, well, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure. My face hurts from smiling. So that's always a good thing. Please share how people can get hold of you. And I know you have your special still, so share whatever you wish to share.
Sure. Okay. My website is internalwilderness.com. And you can reach me at deb@internalwilderness.com. You can also find me on Facebook, deb.frueh, and Frueh is spelled F like Frank, Rueh. And feel free to friend me. I'm happy to have a chat with you. But right now, till 3 p.m. on New Year's Eve, I am running a special because of COVID. I feel that everyone should do something because the economy is so wacky right now. Everyone should do something for everyone else. So I have cut the price of my readings in half, and it's $50 for 30 minutes, which, believe me, I am fast and I get really deep really quickly. Come with a lot of questions. I cannot tell you how many people after 15 minutes are like, well, you said everything that I was going to ask you, so now I don't know what to do. So bring a long list of questions. And the way it works is contact me through one of these portals that we've talked about. And you can shoot me some dates that work for you, or I should probably shoot you some dates that work for me because I'm getting so booked. You have the ability to purchase it and a gift certificate in this amount too,
Okay.
up until 3 o'clock on New Year's Eve, but you have until February 28th to actually have the reading. And that goes for the gift certificates too. So feel free to contact me, deb@internalwilderness.com. And I just really appreciate being able to talk to you, Melinda. It's been
Yeah.
a wonderful, wonderful conversation.
Yeah, super fun. You shared so many new tidbits for my brain, at least. So I am always appreciative of that selfishly. It's like a bonus of having your own podcast because I'm like, ooh, that was great. So that's fantastic. And I will put everything in the show notes for everyone. And I definitely hope you, audience members, I appreciate you so much, but I hope you also reach out to Deb and connect with her too. So just grow your connections and grow your ways that you can, make your life as best as possible, best as it could possibly be. Thank you so much, Deb.
Thanks, Melinda.